Hey guys, what's going on? I want to show off some of the ability rebalancing I've done for the triggered abilities. You know, Electric Burst, Quill Burst, Stink Cloud, Assassinate, things of that nature. These have always had a difficult place in the meta with balancing. Throughout the history of IC, they're either too strong or not strong enough, but I believe I've found a way to balance these things so they're effective throughout the game at different ranks without any outlier conditions making them broken. So let me just get right into it. We'll start with Stink Cloud. What I have done is made it scale by size. As you can see, the cloud gets bigger as the creature size gets bigger, with the base size being actually relatively small, much smaller than what you're used to. This is the original defensive cloud that makes you immune to range damage, and basically the way it's designed is that it's sort of a personal shield for the creature. It's not meant to disable range attacks in a whole fight, but let's say my creature is fighting another creature in melee, and you have ranged creatures behind shooting, and I have range, or maybe I don't, and I'm just doing a big melee attack. What I can do is just pop my Stink Cloud, giving myself a little bit of time to just get some melee attacks off, while your ranged creatures cannot hit me. And the duration as well scaling with the level, and it's really key to make the sizes smaller like this because that allows us to scale the cost of the abilities, because the cost is charged per creature. So when one ability can change the whole battlefield, then there's no good way to price it. But when it's more personal, more individualized, this creature's just basically using it as a personal shield, then we can make the cost a lot cheaper, and it's still effective for that creature, for himself, but it's not. So this T-Rex is only going to be paying about 85 a leg for this Stink Cloud, and at level 5 that's not that much. This guy is going to be paying maybe like 30, you know, it's quite cheap, maybe even 25. So it's quite cheap, and it's scalable. So as you get more creatures, you have more Stink Clouds, then the cost will start racking up. But per ability, it's a personal shield. It works well. It works at the point of allowing you to fight in melee without being hit by range attacks from either way. And with the radius being smaller like this, the flyer stink phenomenon is not as much of an issue, because the flyers are not going to be able to pinpoint exactly where they drop their stink with their swoop, and the flyers do also pay an extra cost for stink. Moving on to Electric Burst. Once again, it's been scaled by size. Once again, it's sort of a back off ability, like a get off me ability, and that's how it's sort of thought of as the concept of the ability is like a eel being a ranged creature as attacking you from far away, but if you get close it can do a sort of a back off. So basically the sizes are scaled, so basically any creature attacking this creature in melee is gonna get hit by that E-Burst. Quill Burst is the same. E-Burst and Quill Burst now have the same radius, but Quill Burst has a little bit lower damage and it has the armor piercing, so Quill Burst will be more effective against things with armor, while E-Burst is just straight damage. So it's really more so, once again, it's a personalized ability. Instead of one Quill Burst or one E-Burst taking over an entire battle, you know, like this T-Rex, being a big creature, can hit all of these creatures with its burst, you see? And that's a level 5 burst, it's going to just wipe them all out. Great. But that little cheetah is not going to be able to hit multiple T-Rexes with its burst. It's limited to the creature's size, and it's sort of a back off personal explosion. And with that, once again, we're able to scale the costs, scale it so you can actually have a lot of things with E-Burst, and yes, you're paying for each one, but each one sort of is less cost individually because it's more of a individual force field back off, you know, force field in terms of stink, an individual back off explosion in terms of the E-Burst. Moving on to Assassinate. Assassinate now also scales with the size of the creature, because think about it, a small wasp, you know, or a cheetah-sized wasp assassinating a T-Rex is not going to hurt it that much. You know, maybe you're doing 25% or 23%, something like that, of its health. But then when we get a tiger-sized wasp, we're going to be hitting a little bit harder. Now we're going into the 30s. But then if we get a T-Rex sized wasp, now we're going to be really hitting. You know, now we're doing major damage. Do it on a fresh guy so you can see exactly how much it does. So it's quite solid, almost 50%. It's actually 40, or I think like 46%, something like that. So it scales with size, and the key, because the issue with Assassinate has always been that you mass up a bunch of small, cheap Assassinate units, and then you go assassinate the enemy's level 5s. That's what's always made it OP. But now the small creatures are, it's gonna be like a tickle. It's like, you know, when you get stung by a wasp, it tickles you. But if like a little rat got stung by a wasp, it would really hurt. So yeah, and with that, once again, the costs have been able to get scaled, so it's really not costing that much at the lower levels, but as we go higher up, it's going to cost more and more and more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything is scaled, and it's made scaled by size, and the costs are also scaled by size and levels where the damage changes. So it's really balanced. It works at all levels. There's no outlier cases that are OP, and it's just smooth, and you can use these abilities at all ranks and get rewarded for good micro and using these abilities in the right situations. So there we go. That's Icy Heaven, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.